Hi, I'm Donya, and I'm the 2015-2016 U.S. Youth Observer to the UN, and I'm here with Ms. Catherine Meier.
I work for the Food and Agriculture Organization, and I am now the Senior Contracts Officer in the procurement section. My group does procurement of services for the UN at headquarters and in the field. We are predominantly lawyers because the procurement of services basically involves construction contracts and capacity building services in the field, and sometimes these are rather complex, so it requires a bit of input.
Sure.
From a legal perspective.
How did you get to work with the UN?
Well, I was working in Rome at the time for an American law firm, and I was doing capital markets work essentially, which was rather boring and very time-consuming. And I was looking for something a bit more rewarding, and not only from a personal perspective, but also in terms of doing something that was more positive for the world.
What advice could you give to young people who are interested in working with the UN?
Well, I think that the biggest obstacle for Americans working in the UN is the language problem. Americans don't tend to speak another language unless their parents are immigrants, because there's no need to. And a second language is required in the UN.
So what would you say is one of the most interesting aspects of your job?
Well, what I find the most interesting aspect of my current job is that I'm finally getting to see a little bit about what the organization actually does.
Okay.
Because in the administrative law group, I only saw what people did that they were not supposed to do.
Right.
But being in the procurement service is far more interesting because we actually participate in the projects.
If we can leave American youth with one thing, what would that be?
If you're interested in working internationally, you cannot be so isolated, and you have to reach proficiency in a language, and that may not be the level that you think it is living in the United States. So I would recommend that you spend some time outside of the United States studying in a language other than your own. It's good not only for language development, but also for cultural development and the ability to understand other cultures and work more easily with other people.
That's great. Thank you so much for your time and for everything that you do. Thank you.
Thank you.